We are speaking with Justin Hayward, who's going to be playing a sold-out show here in Tucson on April 7th at a beautiful new location here in Tucson called La Rosa, and also is going to be playing in Phoenix at the Celebrity Theater on April 8th. So Justin, welcome, and thank you for taking time out of a busy schedule to hang out with us for a little bit before you head down to the southwest part of the United States.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and my pleasure, Larry. Yeah.
So this tour is titled after one of your most energetic hits. How does that song Spirit of Looking Forward to find the energy of the band that you're bringing to Phoenix and Tucson this coming up April?
Well, I've got my Gibson 335, and it seems to jump out of that. So no, I mean, I called a tour that because I found that over the last couple of years, when I've done a story when I've done a story about things that have happened, then the audience seem to like it, and it just adds a little something to the music that maybe quite a few of the audience are familiar with. So that's nice.
The unique part of the show, and I'm looking forward to this, is you are doing kind of a live Q&A session. How does that look in the aspect of the show? Are you doing it at the beginning of the show or after, or is it kind of interpolated between songs?
No, I think I'm going to set a section aside for my tour manager, Andoni, to go out into the crowd with a roving microphone. I've got no idea what's going to happen, actually, because I have not done it before. I've done it on of course, in different appearances, but never in this way in a gig before. So yeah, it'll be that the show will be mostly the music, mostly the songs, and then just we'll take a part of it sort of halfway through to do some Q&A. And if anybody's got anything interesting that they want to share or questions they'd like to ask.
Now, for someone sitting in the audience, what kind of behind the scenes stories are you most excited to share that they probably won't find anywhere else?
Well, I think it's just an insight into things that happened. People are always interested with the group, with the Moody's, of course. So it's an insight into how things were in that time, really, for us, and that's the kind of stuff that is always fun to share. It's something that you won't see on the records or on the sleeves or in the press release or anything like that.
So, Justin, after all these years, I'm a bit of a creative myself, but I often, and music is also to me like a time machine. I'll hear a song and it'll bring me back to a time that I heard it a lot or the first time I heard it. And literally, I could smell it and feel it, the memory. You wrote these songs. When you play them, and I know you play them every night and over the decades, but does it ever hit you like, do you remember the inspiration while you're playing it all of a sudden? Does it bring you back in time as well, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I think it does. And music has that wonderful property of being able to capture the emotions that you felt and the places that you were at. I can remember every song I've ever written. I can remember where I was when I wrote it. And that's always interesting. That's a remarkable thing for me. And I think probably I feel that way about other people's music. When I hear Beatles songs, I know exactly where I was when I first heard that song, and it can take me back to that place. And that kind of nostalgia is, it's kind of creative for us in our imagination, and so that's it's always worthwhile. And yes, like you, it does have that property, of course, for me.
So who is in your touring band right now, and how'd you get them together?
Well, I'm with Julie Reagans on keyboards and vocals. We've been together for quite a few years now. She was with the Moody's as well, and got the voice of an angel, and exactly harmonizes with and does all the harmonies that I did with myself on the record. Carmen Gould on flute and vocals, a real virtuoso player, and Billy Adamson, who's really new to our group, an English guitar player that I've had the pleasure of knowing for a while now. And so that'll be nice. And then some people in the crew, Josh Johnson, my guitar tech, is a lovely guitar player. And so, over the last couple of years, he's kind of been, may I say, learning how to kind of play a lot of these things like I did. Because on the records, I would overdub myself. So I would play acoustic and electric. And I think Josh has always given me that option of being the acoustic me, which I can lay on top with my electric or other acoustic parts. It's very nice. It's very satisfying for me. And to be quite honest, Larry, I'm very fortunate to get the call to play in these wonderful venues, and it's a real pleasure and a privilege for me.
Now, fans always want to hear, obviously, the big ones like Nights in White Satin, but this tour features some pretty cool deep cuts and stuff like that. Is there one song on the 2026 set list that you think is a must-hear live for the crowd?
Well, I'm still hung up on Living for Love, which was a song of mine that came out a couple of years ago. And I still feel emotionally kind of moved by that. And so I'm happy to share that. Apart from that, there's other things. There's a song called You and Me that I worked with Graham, our drummer, actually. And it's a great guitar riff that I had, and that I had the melody and the chords and everything, and then Graham put some great lyrics to it, which I found really interesting. But the guitar riff is like a kind of finger exercise, and I find it a great pleasure to get through it in one piece, kind of thing.
I'm 60, and I originally never played an instrument. I've just been a DJ playing other people's music. And I've recently started taking guitar lessons because I love music so much. And now that I've started taking these lessons in the past year, I have so much of a deeper respect for guitar players than I ever did before.
Ah, okay. Well, it kind of hurts, doesn't it, on the fingers? You found that out.
Oh, yes. And then also
Yeah.
some of the chord shapes. And how does your pinky get all the way over there?
Now I never learned. Mike Dawes, who was with me for many years on guitar. I mean, he could use his little finger just beautifully. Had a different way of playing, but I'm a self-taught guy, so my thumb comes over the top. And I kind of do it the wrong way. If any teacher was to look at the way I play, he wouldn't take it as an example of what to show any young player. Yeah, I do all right. I do all right, and I play every day just for my own pleasure anyway. So it's great. Yeah.
I find it to be the learning process of it is actually quite relaxing as well, and it's kind of keeps my brain fresh, I think, as well. And that's the most amazing thing is walking about it. You say you're self-taught, and I know a lot of self-taught musicians. And what's amazing is sometimes, in most cases, the people I've met who've been self-taught have really created some of the best music too.
Okay, I'll go along with that.
Because
I don't think it matters, but
I'm just amazed when I read that some musicians who I grew up listening to, some of them can't even read music, and but yet they created some of the most incredible music out there, which I find fascinating, and I'm sure it drives some college professors insane.
Oh, I don't know. No, I think music is. I don't think if you have a good ear, then I don't think it's necessary to plunge into the sort of deep mathematics of learning how to read or play music. It's a great asset, and frankly, something I only learned after really spending so much time in the studio with the group and in my own solo projects, because sometimes I had to tell other people what I really wanted them to play. And so I would find that having some knowledge of how to write music, it was really worthwhile. But I never learned, I learned to play the guitar self-taught, and really from Buddy Holly and Elvis and Everly Brothers records. That's the stuff that was really influencing my playing, and I think they were the best teachers that I could have ever had.
Now, obviously, back then we didn't have MTV and YouTube and stuff like that. So were you just listening and then trying to replicate it on the guitar?
Well, it's once you have the basic kind of chord shapes, yes. I mean, I was never, it never really came into focus for me until I heard Buddy Holly when I must have been like 10 years old. And then I could see exactly how he did that stuff and exactly how he made those shapes. And there was actually an album cover that where he had his guitar on it, which was a Stratocaster. And I could see also that it was very worn around the fifth fret, and I could see some of the things that you tried to play without a capo of Buddy's just didn't work. But when you put the capo on the fifth fret, it absolutely made sense. And so just from seeing photographs, I could see the chord shapes that they were using. But still, there's a logic. There was a logic about that kind of playing. There was a logic about those records of Elvis and Buddy and the Everlys and Carl Perkins. There was once you delve into it, it was kind of obvious how to play that kind of stuff and the shapes that you would make. I think I've probably said enough now, trying to express what I mean.
No, I totally understand. Any new music on the horizon?
Yeah, I've got new things, and I'm really I've got a few things in the can. Whether they'll be out before I get on the road this tour, because we're getting pretty close now, I don't know. But I'm really wanting to have support in promotion, and I'm kind of selfish in that I don't want to just put something up on YouTube new and that's the way to do it. I really want some support and help around any release that I make. So as soon as I get that in place, then there'll be new music out there.
I'm looking forward to hearing it, Justin. And where can fans find you and follow you online?
Always at the website, which is easy enough to find, and yes, with my own name, yeah, justinhayward.com, yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you here in Tucson on April 7th. I think you're going to absolutely love this venue. It's an old Benedictine church that they've turned into a concert venue, and it's pretty new. And the building is old, but the concert venue is new. And of course, at the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix on April 8th. And I know I believe you've played there before. What do you think of that stage that turns around while you're playing?
I'd forgotten that. I don't know what I think about it. I'll let you know. I'll let you know in the interval.
Well, Justin, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate it. You can purchase tickets, obviously, online at our website at klpx.com. Again, April 7th here in Tucson at the La Rosa, and up in Phoenix at the Celebrity Theater on April 8th. Justin Hayward, thank you so much for taking time out of a busy day, and look forward to seeing you here in Arizona.
Me too, Larry. All the best.